Alright, it's time to do my check to make sure my audio is coming through. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. I think that works out just fine. Give me 1 second. I think my YouTube audio is also coming through fine enough, but if it's not, of course, just let me know. I can hear it through my ends, but I don't know if it's actually that loud on Twitch, but it should be fine. Should be just fine. In any case, hello. Welcome. It's your boy, Saber99. Welcome back to another one of these streams. I meant to do this yesterday, but I fell a little bit ill, so I moved it to today. And you may be asking yourself, well, what exactly is this? Well, this, my friends, specifically this one little guy right here is Aaron, or Aaron, however you pronounce it. He's a Pokemon. So is this and these two friends. And essentially what I'm doing is that one of the many things that I do, one of my many little passion projects is running RPGs, tabletop role-playing games, and one of them that I've run for a little bit now is a Pokemon-themed one. And it's inspired me to start making some of my own versions of Pokemon in pixel arts. Starting off by just simply doing some recolors, and over time adding a few different other things, as you can see here. And eventually I want to get to where I'm comfortable enough to just make my own original ones and start making original characters in pixel art. All for the purpose of eventually adding these to a new tabletop game I have in mind, a new tabletop campaign. It's going to be a long road because I have a lofty goal for myself to get to 200 plus Pokemon variants at least, all with their own little lore and whatnot, their own new typings, etc., etc. But we'll get there eventually. Hang on, let me see if I can't fix up my audio on my end. Because it is rather loud to me. But in any case, yeah, so here's a quick look at what we did last time. Funky little Totodile, very simple redesign, or I should say recolor. It's not a full redesign, but you get what I mean. Over time, I'll get better and start adding more things, but this little guy, basic concepts, recolor him a bit. The idea is in the game he'll be water steel type, and then Baneri here is a little bit more obvious. In the base game, it's a normal type, but for my purposes, I wanted to kind of give it some like fairy fire type inspiration. So it made it a bit more bright, a bit more colorful in certain areas, especially with the pinks. Really happy with this, and has like a little flame on the ear to kind of sell the point. Today I have these two in mind. I thought about adding a third one, but I think these two, just for today, will be fine. Yeah, these two will do just fine. Aaron and Glameow, and I have an idea for both of these. So, and admittedly, I also don't want to overwhelm myself, you know. I want to just focus in on these two today. So specifically for Aaron, I know exactly the kind of scheme I want to put for this guy. And I do apologize again for the YouTube ads. I just like having a little bit of background music. So I am going to use, I think, a combination of purple and yellow for Aaron, and I have a good reason for that. I have a very good reason for that. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so now there's an original copy. Yeah, so before I forget, I also had an epiphany last week, which was um, I mentioned before the idea of people submitting some suggestions on mons they want to possibly see me do some remakes of, especially since I'm going to have to I only have so many so far on my own little personal list. So some suggestions would be really good, but I want to make it a redeem. But in order to do that, of course, I need to reach affiliate status. So if you like the content, if you like the stuff that I do with my good old buddy, the Soloist, make sure to like. Wait, no, that's more of a YouTube thing. I should say follow. Yeah, make sure to follow. Tell your friends, family, your loved ones, if they would like this kind of content. So, yeah, it would really help me out a bit. You know, like the content, share it, help the channel grow, help me reach affiliate status, so I can continue to keep pumping this stuff out. I can't, I'm sorry, for life of me, I can't tell if these are two separate grays. I don't think they are. I think they're close enough to justify me using the same shade, and if need be, I'll change my mind. So you may be wondering why exactly I'm using the colors I'm using today, and yeah, there is reasoning behind it, because I already knew ahead of time the kind of concept of why particularly Aaron and our good old pal Glamia over here have the new types that they do, or rather the end results. Because lore, for the potential game in the future is that, well, for whatever reason, or I guess I shouldn't say that. I know the reason, but I'm trying not to spoil too much in case anyone who wants to be a part of that game later is tuning in. That particular game is going to feature a lot of different variations of Pokemon. And I think when I was brainstorming some ideas, it occurred to me that Aggron is a very identifiable Pokemon. If you've seen one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a very identifiable Pokemon. It's the final version of this little guy. It's a tanky powerhouse. Looks spectacular. And I was thinking about it, and I remember something about the lore being, and I don't know this. I think this is correct, but in lore, they eat like rocks and metal, like actually, like that's their form of nutrition. That's what they eat to constantly repair and grow their metallic bodies. And I was thinking about it, And I was like, well, wait. I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, what reason would they have from a ecological standpoint to have a new type? And what exactly would it be? So, within the context of that, I was thinking, what if, you know, you take these guys and you take them out of their typical environment for some means, and it could be just about any reason, really. I haven't really thought of the full direct reason yet. They have to move away from the typical mountain biome that they're found in. You know, they have to start living in more urban areas where there's more humans and um, more production. And because of that, they begin to encounter more and more pollutants, you know, byproducts of human development. Um, but in a weird turn of events, it doesn't necessarily harm them because, again, their bodies are very durable, metallic. So instead, they begin to eat the pollutants, which kind of like helps give back to the environment. Um, and it starts to affect these guys' biology. It starts to make them a bit stronger in some unusual ways, leading these guys to develop a new variation of themselves, which is steel poison type. And I think that's a pretty solid backstory for why these guys are the way that they are, at least in the context of our world. Yeah, I think that would be good. As for little Aaron, I'm not going to change too much over about his overall design. I just want to add some purples and some yellows to really like send home the message that he is adapting to his new environment. Let's try this purple. No, I feel like it's still not white enough. Yeah, there we go. That's good. Yeah. Okay, I think that's turning out just fine. Because I think like it could lead to some pretty decent when I get around to making Agron, some good like color and design inspiration, and it's a terrifying combination, you know, on paper, you know, but I think the idea that they're actually just gentle giants who are trying to give back to nature, you know, they turned something that was maybe a bit sour, a negative experience, into something that's a bit more positive, you know? Having to move away from the mountains and having to find new sources of food. And they were able to evolve from it. They were able to find ways to carry on. Okay, I'm actually, I don't mind that shade of purple right there. I think that's looking good so far. Hmm. Let's see here. Be careful, because yeah, it's the small details. It's the little pixels you gotta watch out for. They can make a world of difference with the contrast. Excuse me, with how the contrast plays out. And I do want to keep that black. I don't know if I'll change the eye color necessarily. I could. But I don't know if, I don't know if I necessarily need to. We're gonna touch up on these spots later, but right now I need to figure out what's going to go on. Oh, yeah, big white sections here. Oh, forgot. Left a small piece down. There we go. Yeah, we need something that's really just. That could work. Let's try this. I have a very neutral tone. I'm gonna fill it in and see how we like that. Okay. I really like that actually, now that I'm starting to see it come in. Comparing it to the darker shade. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm really liking that. Look at that. Yeah, I like that a lot. What a handsome little gentleman. Look at him. What a handsome little gentleman he is. Let's see here. Like I said, it's small details. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. I like that. Just ever so slightly. Okay, yeah, that's fine, I think. And now go here and maybe grab a ever so slightly darker shade. Okay, yeah, you know, that works. I think that works. Yeah, that looks nice. And then I want to put. Is that the same gray? this little outline bit here and here, is it the same as this little thing here? It looks the same to my eye. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Now let's see, because I want to do some yellows. Some more gray yellow. Hmm. Okay. Not too shabby. Not too shabby, okay. So now I gotta get a really darker. To really just round out this. I mean, it's all right. I don't know if I vibe completely with it. Let's try lighten it up a little bit. Okay. It's getting there. I don't know. It's something off about the color here. Something about just the combination of light and dark yellow. I mean, I think that's kind of okay. That's. Oh no, you're fine. Honestly, I thought about starting at 10:30, but you're good. It's nothing too crazy going on today. Welcome in, by the way. Um, I am just putting some finishing touches on this little man here. Yeah, no, welcome in, welcome in. This is my boy Aaron, who is going under a makeover currently. And then after him, we have a cat. So, But yeah. Do I want to do anything to the eyes? I kind of like the eyes as is, honestly. Like, I think it's a decent blue. Goes well with the purple and the yellow. For context, um, let's see here. Originally steel rock type, steel poison type. And I don't feel like adding too much on, like, when it comes to, like, trying to add, like, extra detail on here like we did with these two. Just because he's so compact, and I feel like the color scheme already does a lot for him. But I do have something in mind for adding onto this though. Yeah. In any case, how do you feel about this one? Original, and then there's the new version. So because I do think I like the color scheme a lot. I don't know if I would add anything to it, really. Now, when it comes to doing his next two evolutions, it's going to be a lot more tricky because they're a lot more cumbersome. But that's fine. I'm hoping to be a bit more skilled at that point. Be skilled enough to kind of just, you know, take them apart and put them back together a little bit. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at this Glameow. Like I said, today's stream's not going to be too long or too bad. Especially since I do need to get some rest before work. So I think we're just going to do these two today. This little Aeron and this Glameow. Now the Aeron, I'll just repeat some of the lore. I was thinking about it. These guys in Pokemon lore, they naturally eat rocks, stones, metal, all that stuff. It's how they keep up their strong steel bodies. And in our new lore, these guys move out of their habitat. They go towards more city areas, and they begin to eat more byproduct materials. And they learn to adapt, grow stronger because of it, and also kind of like help the environment by destroying more toxins. So they become steel poison types. Now for Glameow here, I have something specific in mind. And honestly, we don't need to do too much with this one either, because I don't plan on going too far off with the colors. But there is something I want to do with the tail specifically. So, it's also a little bit tricky because, yeah, it's going to be a little tricky in some areas just because of the shape of the sprite. But it should be good. So we're going to start off with a primarily black color. I don't want to get like too dark, but I do need a yeah, black and a little bit of purple. Yeah, because this is a good starting color. I think we'll start with this for the darker sections. Um, yeah, we'll start down here to get kind of like a feel. Like I said, I have an idea for this little one. It's not too far off because it's still going to keep a lot of that same house cat theme, just with a little bit of a twist to it. We're just simply going to take. Oh wait, no! I completely forgot. Oopsie. Hang on 1 second. We're just going to redo. Completely forgot to make a separate layer. Okay, here we go. I think actually I want to make this a little bit lighter. Not too light, but just yeah. Actually, I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. There we go. Put that there. That there. Yeah, okay. So I suppose I should clarify a little bit on why I'm doing this particular color scheme. So I like the house cat um, house cat perspective. I love it. I love the look of Glam Meow. Per ugly, its evolution is a little hit or miss, but I love Glam Meow. It's a cute design, and I think ideally I want to hold on to some of that idea of house catness that it has, but specifically I'm going to try to lean more into a bit of a mischievous kind of color scheme and look to it. Something that justifies it having a dark poison type. I keep these the same. No, I think I need to go down actually. Actually, let's use this shade of purple for these darker splotches. Yeah, I think that's good. There we go. It's a bit of yeah. And then I went to oh, excuse me. Like I said, I'll need to catch up on some rest before I head off to work today. But I'm fine. Yeah, let's just do some. The tails will be interesting because it spirals a bit, so we're gonna have to be a bit patient and be a bit vigilant with it. Just a little bit. Patience is really going to be the name of the game with this one. Take some time to just kind of go through it. Much like the Aeron, I might leave some parts of this the same colors before, like maybe the ears. Since the white really stands out, really does a good job of helping to keep the it's a really good distinguishing color to compare against the purples. I didn't even realize that today was going to be like an all purple episode. It's the purple special. I swear next time I'll be a bit more diligent about being diversified in colors. I'm going to touch the tail again because I have some idea of what I want to do there. It's going to be a little hit or miss. I do like that. As far as outlines go, that is very nice. That is very nice. I like that a lot. Just need to make sure. Okay, yeah. Let's see here. Can't just get that all situated like that. Yeah, it still maintains that refined shape of tail. Go ahead and get our outline wrapped up here. I'm not going to touch the whiskers just yet because I don't know, I feel like it's... I don't know if I have an idea for the whiskers. I mean I do, but I don't know if it'll be like necessary per se. Just because, you know, sometimes less is more. we don't want to overwhelm our canvas. We don't want to overwhelm our little don't want to overwhelm both ourselves and our little friend here. Can get a little bit lighter. Oh, that's just pink. Trying to find that sweet spot of color. Speaking of cats, I am joined by mine now, who wants a little bit of lap time. Trial and error here because it's just actually no, that might, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this a little bit. Be a little bit bold and try this out a little bit. Change it if we have to, but try this out. Well, I'm glad you're back now. I hope everything's doing alright on your end. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm approving of these ratios of light to dark. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. Trying to get like a whole picture. Make sure I'm okay with it. So we got those darker shades of purple. Now I'm putting in this much lighter shade. See if it's a bit. See if it's a bit more appropriate. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking in and out. I feel like I'm just phasing in and out of existence right now. Oh, okay. I'm starting to see it. Yeah, no, I'm starting to see it come together. I do like that. I think I'm on to something here. This one specifically poison and dark type. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards the purple. And yeah, I know today's a really purple episode between these two. Specifically, so the main thing I'm thinking here is not just recoloring with purples and darker shades, but what I want to do specifically for the tail is I'm trying to picture in my mind, because what I want is ideally I want to get rid of this entire section of fluff right here get rid of it entirely, and what I want to put is like a. Um, I'm picturing like like in the Mario universe they have like the thing that's like on the chain, like the big ball with teeth. I'm thinking of putting like something like similar to that here, with the idea of the lore being that it's such a mischievous variation of this particular Pokemon that they specifically evolved their tails to be little lures that they use for either gathering prey into one spot to attack or, just being jerks to other Pokemon. But yeah, I think we can move on to just filling this out a little bit. Get kind of an idea of what it's going to look like as a whole. The exact specific reason why they evolved to be like this, I just thought it was funny, honestly. Because the Aeron, I had a whole like reason, like, oh, that could be great for storytelling. It's like, oh, these particular Pokemon eat toxic pollutants and they help the environment. And in the case of our little cat friend here, it's just because I thought it was funny. You know, it's the world of Pokemon. Sometimes your variations can be a little bit funny. Let's see here. That's good. Just finish this up real quick before I take a step back. Okay. Oh yeah, that's what it's called, a chain chomp. Yeah, that thing. Okay, I'm liking this so far. This color scheme. I feel like it's a bit more. It does feel a bit more natural. Um, Compared to some of the other color schemes I've done. Yeah. Okay. I do need to figure out what's going to go on with the tail here and here. And this little patch up here, I should figure out what to do with this. Could make it really dark color potentially. Are these the same color? Double check. Oh, they are. It's the exact same shading. Okay. What if we... What if we... Oh, that is way too similar. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's try... Maybe. What do we think about this little pink shade? Or should I just go in the direction of a dark shade for this little splotch and the back parts of the tail here? Can't see it, but I'm like stretching so hard right now. Keep myself limber up. Maybe if I